welcome to Let's Grow Shopping. This is a bit of an early morning garden update. It's due to get to about 37 degrees today, so yeah, I'm getting this in quickly while I can. And it's a bit different from the usual update because by this time I've usually transplanted, sowed and harvested a load of stuff. But I haven't been able to do that, A, because I've been really busy, and B, because it's been nudging 30 every day of the week for the past, I think it's like 7 days. And so I've been waiting for a cool overcast day to do all that. I'm hoping that's going to be maybe tomorrow or the day after. So I'm just going to show you what I have been up to. Harvesting loads of stuff at the moment. Chilies, strawberries, bananas aplenty, pepinos and plums. Our first decent harvest of Santa Rosa plums. We've had the odd one or two previously in previous years, but this is 6 kilos ish worth of plums, and there was only really 2 bad ones out of all of them, and they're all fairly even sized and going ripe at the same time. So yeah, we're really happy with that. We have the cross pollinator we bought for these was a damson, and that's probably got a couple of hundred fruit on it at the moment. We've never had fruit off the damson either till this year, and they've been in the ground since I think August 2020, so 4 and a bit years old trees. And a couple of weeks ago one of the banana trees snapped with this bunch on, which was due to come off anyway, and you can see that I've harvested some at the top already. There's still some bright green ones, but then heaps of them are going yellow. They generally tend to ripen quicker than we can eat them. So I'm going to have to pick all these off and put them in the kitchen and get around to doing some banana bread or something. Freeze a few banana smoothies, you name it. As long as it's got bananas in it, it's good. So once I've cut it off, and like when I say I've cut it off, I've cut the whole, you can see the hook, and I just put that over a shelf in the garage where it's dark most of the time, and then it ripens inside, hopefully a bit slower than it would do out in the light, so you can manage to eat them as you're picking them off. Something we've never harvested before. I took out some of the I think these are probably 2-year-old sugarcane canes, and so we'll have to figure out what to do with them. I can sense a YouTube session coming on. And then we had our permaculture group Christmas party, and we made kokedama, and I made them out of old bed sheets and some builder's string, which is pink. And so there'll be good little Christmas Day table decorations. Just got to keep them moist. I've been round this morning and watered everything in pots and the veggies. Yesterday I did the drip line and watered the whole garden in preparation for today. Being really hot. It was only about 30 yesterday. Today's 37 with a chance of a thunderstorm this afternoon. But yes, my rule of thumb is if we haven't got 10 mil of rain in a week, then I water twice and space that out during the week. So that's what I've been doing. But the pots and the veggies I know need water every day. And so that's, people ask me what I do in the garden and how much time it takes. This is where it takes all the time for me, is just keeping the water up. So in Venus and Mars I harvested all the potatoes, a lot of bare ground, and the one thing I have sowed, I can't remember when I did it, it's like 4 or 5 days ago, maybe even a week ago. I have got some watermelon seedlings, and so I'm just trying them out in here. I'm terrible with melons. They do not grow anywhere I want them to, but I can grow them by accident. Never on purpose, and so I'm trying to do them in a place where I'm keeping an eye on them properly to see if they work a bit better. The beetroot and the broccoli's going alright in the other end, and then in Mars I've done the same there, so I needed a crop to put in. I was kind of going to just put a load of lettuce in and stuff, but then I thought, oh no, we'll see if these watermelon will do the job for us. And because I had the bare soil, I have composted both of these 2 beds with the watermelon in, so they've got a layer of mulch on top. Cucumbers are going really well. lots of flowers. And if we just pan over here a little bit, quite a few cucumbers. This one's due for coming off. Lou's already pickled a heap of them, and we've been eating them in salad, which has been great. One thing they're not really doing though is going up the trellis. They seem to like it down the bottom of the trellis, which is a bit frustrating. I'm having to train them all the time. Jeepus is now full of eggplants, and they are loving the hot weather. You can tell when you, like, I've watered them this morning, so they're leaning over because of the weight of the water. But when the sun comes up, they're just absolutely reaching for it. And in Saturn, the tomatoes are going fantastic. These are looking amazing. We're getting cherry tomatoes out of the rest of the garden, but the main tomatoes are still on their way. So again, look, like 4 different varieties in here. So these are the large heritage seeds that I got from a friend. These are going to be the Black Russian rosemary tomatoes. I think these are the cherries, and I think these are the broad ripple yellow ones. So I've been tying them all up to make sure they can reach the trellis. And I've had to pan right out for Uranus and Neptune because they are full of corn, and it's getting like 6 or 7 foot high. So these are the tassels, and corn is wind pollinated, and so when the wind blows, all that seed comes off and pollinates the surrounding plants, and then you start to get the tassels on the corn. So 2 varieties of corn here. I'm not sure if they're going to cross-pollinate actually. I suspect they will, but we'll see how that goes. One thing that is weird is that I've got beans growing up between all this, but some bean plants are thriving, and then the one next door is looking really tatty, and that's been the case everywhere I'm planting beans. The zucchini alley is still growing really well, and this is the first zucchini that we've been able to grow. There we go. We've had lots of tiny zucchinis that have then rotted, which is either a lack of pollination, or for a while there the weather was really weird, kind of low temperatures and overcast, and maybe they just didn't like it too much. But now the sun's really come out this last week, we've started to see them perk up a bit. So there are certain plants that really like the sun and it being totally hot, and the zucchini is definitely one of them. Corn, tomatoes, eggplant are the others. And this is what happens when you let a tomato just go for its life. This is a broad ripple that's self-seeded, and so we've been getting yellow tomatoes off this for a while now. Yeah, they just grow like a real jungle. Very unkempt and all over the place, but I'm letting it go because it's not really doing any harm at the moment. And again, we've got the same sort of bean story with the bush beans. This, I'm assuming it's a disease, the brown on the leaves. I've took all the brown leaves off at one point, and they started coming back with nice fresh leaves, but then a lot of them have turned brown again. And some of the ones over in the other bed that I've taken the leaves off, they've come back and not got diseased again. They're looking alright and producing flowers. So there's definitely something strange going on with beans. The wicking beds are all still looking fairly good, apart from the bean situation. You can see here the lettuce forest I'm growing. We've took out one row of lettuce and the other one went to seed while we were trying to eat it as quickly as possible. I'm going to chop all them out because I've got some of those variety going to seed somewhere else. The spinach is still giving us the goods, and the beetroot are looking amazing as well, so I'm going to harvest that soon, I think, too. The bed that I planted after that, the silver beet's looking great, but and some of the beetroot are all right, but the rest of it is looking woeful. I planted some basil in the side, which is going fantastic. Another plant that loves the heat and the hot sun. But these are all amaranth weeds coming out the compost, so I'm going to have to weed that and replant. I'm not going to bother really re-sowing carrots or anything because I don't think they're going to survive in this heat. The coriander is starting to brown off now, so I'm going to save these seeds for next year and hopefully get some coriander that loves my garden instead of my usual not being able to grow it. The shade house has been great with the sun. I've not got a lot of seedlings in here, but all the plants are surviving really well. Again, watering them every day. All the trees are on the bottom. Bananas and fig trees. These tomatoes, I've put them in a tray, drilled 2 holes in the tray and filled it up to here with sand, and the tomatoes sit on top of the sand, and I've just watered, so the thing's full of water now, but yeah, the water drips out of those holes, but the sand wicks the water up to them, so they never run out. Well, it's a lot, they don't run out of water so quickly. And so I'll plant them tomatoes out all over the garden eventually, just haven't got round to it. Again, I don't want to plant them out when it's going to be a 37-degree day. I'd rather do it on a 25-degree day, and they've got some time to settle in before this kind of weather batters them. Yeah, I planted a lot of seedlings, and particularly tomatoes, that it was a nice day when I planted them, but then the following day went up into the 30s and baking sun, and then they've just carked it. So I'm going to leave it till the temperatures calm down a bit and give them a better chance at life. In the greenhouse, these are the seedlings from a month ago that really need to get transplanted into something, but again, I don't want to do it today and then it be them all die with transplant shock and the heat, so I'm just going to leave them where they are and hope they can manage with a lot of water. And this is the tray from last week. So most of the stuff has sprouted, which is, sorry, from the last fortnight, and most of the stuff has sprouted, so it's looking really good. Yeah, one thing I've found is that with all this heat, I can hardly do a film during the day because the camera overheats instantly. So I'm having to try and squeeze this in the morning. I'm underneath the banana canopy right now to get out of the sun, and it's only like 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, hopefully by the time you see me next time, I'll have transplanted all those seedlings into the garden, and I'll have another seed tray in there. Hopefully get round to that before Christmas Day. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.